introduce yourself and a little bit about what you do and your company?
Yeah, my name is Bilal. I did undergrad in electrical engineering from UNSW. I work as associate fellow machine learning engineer at Smart Infrastructure Facility, and I founded one company when I was in my final year of undergraduate. So still working on it as a director. Yeah.
Still working on it. Yeah. And could you tell us a little bit about what your company Wize Dynamics does?
Yeah. Wize Dynamics focuses on the area of wildlife monitoring.
Yeah.
So we develop AI-enabled tools to conserve biodiversity. So currently we are working on Wicked, which is wildlife intelligently identified and counted by a device. So we have two different services we provide through Wicked. One of them is local identification, and the other one is cloud-based software solution.
Yeah.
So locally is composed of two different things, the hardware plus software bit.
Yeah.
So it's just like you put out the device out there, it does the monitoring for you and spits out the report.
Yeah.
And the second one is cloud-based solution in which we give local councils, our researchers, an advantage to upload the images, and they can, recognition part will be done online.
Right, that's really cool. How did you come up with the idea?
So I remember I was in final year of my undergrad, and we were doing this subject, ACT 350.
Yeah.
So this is a one-year subject where the first semester you think what you're going to do and plan out for the next semester.
Yeah.
So we came up with this idea of developing a robot that can go around in the bush area and take pictures and recognize different animals.
Yeah.
So by the time we were developing the product, I realized there may be a commercial opportunity into this.
Right.
So I took the same idea to the IXRate, which is an incubator in the other campus of UW.
Yeah.
So I pitched this idea, they liked it, and since then we've been working with different councils locally and internationally to develop software that can automatically recognize different animals.
Right.
So they don't have to do it manually.
Right. How was especially since you've done just a bachelor's of engineering, was it a bit harder to kind of navigate yourself around the business aspect of your startup?
Initially, I didn't think about that when I was creating a startup, because initially everyone thinks, I think one day when you'll make a startup, you'll think, okay, I have an idea and I know how to do it, and let's go and make a startup. So we did a similar thing.
Yeah.
So we went out and made the startup on the idea that we had. We developed the product, but then we didn't have anyone to sell to because we didn't market it. We didn't have anything PR. We didn't use any campaign or marketing tools.
Right.
So and then we started learning out the different business aspects, like what we can do now. So, and that's why I joined one more program, which was CSIRO Prime program for researchers, because at that time I was working here as a researcher as well.
Yeah.
So there was also an entrepreneurship program, and under that program I learned more kind of a business stuff, and then tried to implement them in my own startup.
All right, that's really cool. I guess the consumer aspect of your startup was a bit unexpected, right?
Yeah.
Was there anything else you kind of encountered that was a little bit unexpected that you didn't really see coming?
I think everything. Because we thought it's going to be good sell, because when you think in your mind and when you don't consult with the actual customers, you think everything is golden and everyone is going to be buying this thing, because you make your opinion based on opinions you get from your co-founders or from the people around you, but you don't really target the market. So you really have to do the market research before you jump into anything.
Right.
So that was kind of a bit of unexpected, because what we developed in first 4 months, that was useless for the customers.
No.
So we had to adjust it later on and spend a lot more time on it.
Right.
But eventually we got it work, and happy with the end result.
Right. How do you get from a product that's a good idea to a product that works for people and other consumers?
So we try to get the trial first. That's how most of the startups do.
Yeah.
So they try to do free trials. They go out to local councils, ask them, okay, this problem exists. First, you have to make sure that problem exists. If you can convince yourself, you can convince anyone.
Right.
So we convinced ourselves, okay, this is a problem. We convinced local council, Wollongong City Council, that this problem exists. And Wollongong City Council, they gave us a trial site. So in that site, we knew that there are the abundance of different animals, and the data was already known. So we set out our prototypes there, and then try to collect our own data, and then we keep on tweaking our own algorithm, and then we got to that point that it started working there.
Yeah.
And then from there we started accelerating it. Yeah.
Especially since you mentioned you've done a bachelor's of electrical engineering, and I think your product is a little bit more computer science. How do you kind of build the skills to get yourself around that?
So when I was doing the subject, the 350, we realized that we took this project, but there's no one in the team that can do it.
Yeah.
So that was first semester. But because the idea actually came from one of the professors, and professor said, this is one guy in Perth, and he is very good in his field. He said, like, if we can develop something like this thing may go very big.
Yeah.
So that's the whole background of the story. So we really established, okay, we are going to do this thing, and then if it works, we'll probably go speak with the professor, and then we see how things will go.
Yeah.
So we choose the project, and we realized later on that none of the team members know about the software.
Yeah.
So during the first semester, I tried to learn more about machine learning and deep learning, and then I took the role of developing the software. So yeah, from there, bit by bit, learned, and then tried to implement it. And then because it was all team effort, and it worked in the end. So I think, yeah.
Right, and you started your startup in third year, right?
Fourth year.
Fourth year.
Yeah.
How'd you kind of work around the startup while you were balancing uni as well?
That's very important question, because what I did was a bit tricky with my university subjects.
Yeah.
So in my final semester, I had to do, I think, 24 credit points.
Right.
So actually 30 credit points, because I left one subject in third year, and I thought I can do it in my final year.
Yeah.
So I was doing 30 credit points. So 12 credit points was my thesis. I took the same project as my startup for my thesis as well. So thesis was same as my startup.
Yeah.
I did one more FEIS 400, which is about startup learning.
Mm-hmm.
That's also a 12 credit point subject.
Yeah.
And Active 350, that was going on from the last semester, and that was also the same project. So my final semester was startup. 30 credit points was all my startup project.
Right, that's so good. I guess, was it a little bit easier that way then?
Yeah, of course, because you only work on one project, and you get too much credit for that.
Was it a good experience just doing it in uni?
Experience in university?
Yeah.
Yeah, experience in university was good. Yeah, I learned a lot. I learned a lot from my peers. I learned working extensively in team environment. Yeah. That's very important, because in university projects, you have to stay in that project with that team probably for like 3 months or 4 months. But when you go for a startup, it's a big engagement. Yeah. Like for like years. So making that kind of interpersonal skills, like when you are doing your undergraduate studies, I think is very important. It helps you a lot when you develop your own startup and have to manage the whole thing. Yeah. So yeah, that was I learned from the university. And self-learning. Yeah. Self-learning. This is what uni taught us, like to self-learn. Yeah.
Since you've been doing this for a little while now, what kind of skills have you kind of learned through the startup since leaving the incubator initial program? So
I was very shy in public speaking. Yeah. I'm still a bit shy, but I'm getting better. That's what I learned, because I didn't wanna. I was very unsocial. Yeah. So calling someone, random person, telling them your idea was just like too much for me. Yeah. So doing it in the incubator program, I kind of developed how to engage with the stakeholders. Yeah. And yeah, that helped a lot. I think that's the most important thing. I really wanted to conquer that kind of fear.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's the most important thing I am proud of, I think.
Oh, that's really nice. Are there any other, I guess, tips you'd give to other people, especially current uni students who are looking to go for their own startup?
Yeah, go for it. Just if you have an idea, yeah. So it always starts with that. Either you hear that idea from TV, your friends say it, you start thinking about it. Don't keep it to yourself, because you may sometimes think that someone will steal it. Yeah, that's why you don't wanna. That was the thing with all kind of startups. So it's not like, because they keep it to themselves initially and then they don't tell other people because they feel like they may steal it, and then but they don't work as well.
Yeah.
So I think the good thing is that share your idea with your peers, get their feedback, see what they think. Even if their feedback is negative, you don't have to get disencouraged from there. Like, the important people you should like care about are the people who are working in that domain. If you have a social media idea, go and search for Facebook what they're doing, how you can add extra value to the customer, what they are not doing.
Yeah.
So, and then there is nothing wrong if you just like send an email to someone working at Facebook and ask some questions.
Yeah.
People are nice, they will reply back. But no, 80%, 70%.
Alright. Is there anything you'd change or do differently?
I think when we started out the startup, we didn't try to sell our product because we thought that we are going to make an ideal product and then everyone want to buy it because it's going to be so good.
Yeah.
We didn't try to sell it during its development stage. That's the mistake we made. I think if we could have taken customers' input during the development stage, we could have done a lot better job.
Yeah.
And save us a heaps of time, because in the end we had to go back and modify it according to customers' requirements.
Right. Oh, that's really interesting to know. Well, thanks so much for coming and doing this with us. It's been really interesting getting to know your journey and what you've been doing with your startup.
No worries. Thank you for having me.